On this episode of the John1911 Podcast, the Ross Rifle Project is done. Repop MP40s are now shipping. 80% SIG P320 Fire Control Group and ANTIFA protestors get the beatdown. Okay, good morning everybody. This is Marky and Freeze, and this is episode 64 of the John1911 Podcast. How's your morning so far, Freeze?
Well, with the exception of some technical difficulties and that, it's not been too bad.
Jesus Christ. Well, between Apple doing updates, Skype doing updates, and you basically hating everything iCloud.
freaking Steve Jobs.
Ghost of Steve Jobs. So let me tell the listeners kind of how this works. Freeze has a Mac computer because I have to admin the Mac computers, and I refuse to admin Windows computers anymore. I still fight with my office with it, but, you know, shit that I can control, I make you go Mac. So Freeze dumped his iPhone and went to a Droid because he hates Apple. So when he's on his Mac computer and he gets flags for, you know, like shit for iCloud or updates, he goes, I don't have iCloud anymore, which eventually causes problems with his Mac. So, no, you do have iCloud. Here's your logins. Get your ass in there so we do podcast. God. All right. You're a real reality winner there, buddy.
Hey, you know what? Screw Apple, screw the Mac, screw the freaking iCloud.
Hey, you know what? You like this podcast, right? It's a home run. We're getting tons of traffic. The only way we could do this podcast is on a Mac.
No, I'm thinking we could still do it on a PC.
Yeah, we could do it with smoke signals from mountain to mountain too, but I'm not going to work that hard.
Yeah, or we could, you know, beat on logs with sticks.
Yeah, like I'm not an Apple like.
Oh, you are too. Shut up.
No,
man, you like feed at the Apple trough.
You know what? I do not. I get sick and tired of shit that doesn't work.
How many non-Apple products do you have?
Apple is the Glock of the freaking gun world. You know what? All these enthusiasts want to make all this shit hard, and it's like, nah, fuck you guys. I want to pull my fucking trigger. I want that thing to go bang. You know, and that's what Mac does. So
does PC.
Yeah, PC is like the H&K of the gun world. I hate to use a product from a company that hates its customers. So I used to program goddamn PCs. Okay, so we've been fighting with stuff for like half hour here this morning, so we're a little stilted on how we normally do this. What do you want to? I mean, you want to talk about Reality Winner? Do you want to talk about the Koreans bitching about that? Do you want to talk about the TV girl who got in the cop's face and was, you know, telling everybody how everybody hates you fucking guys? Or do you want to talk about the guy, the editor, is it Vanity Fair, who was, I guess, busted with anime porn? I mean,
look, there is so much crazy shit going on. I've just got two statements. The first statement is, I truly believe the millennials are the worst generation of people that this country has ever produced. And I also truly believe that the mainstream media is totally out of freaking control. Now, look, I'm not saying when Barack Obama was president that the conservatives and the right wings weren't hard on him. But cite me a point where a mainstream media person on the right called Barack Obama on air a piece of shit, called him, a psychopath. I mean, just the shit they're saying about Donald Trump is just out of control. Hell, I was listening to this Micah chick video clip from one of these morning liberal douche shows, and she was on this big rant about, Trump said that, he likes grabbing, girls in inappropriate places. And she even insinuated that, and maybe he likes to do it to little boys too. I mean, it's like they're just they're just out of freaking control.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tie in your observation with some topical news. So, Tucker Carlson had this woman on. This is a black woman, and she was, I guess maybe the issue was running white people off campus for a day, and then you've got Bill Mayer talking about who cracked a joke about he wanted to be he was a house slave as opposed to a field slave, whatever the joke was. And, truth be told, look, if Dave Chappelle had told that joke, people would have been laughing. But, we're kind of getting, to get to the bigger point here, is the left has a problem. And it's not a hard problem. It's just a double standard problem. The right is pretty good at, there's been enough people on the right that have been caught with the politically correct game that, with language and racism and bigotry and inappropriate things and just kind of how to do stuff. The left doesn't. There's more racism on the left now than there is on the right in general. And the left just doesn't appreciate it. Like, I'm convinced we're kind of right now, and this is just the truth. Let's say in the 50s and the 60s you had, these cracker guys in the South on the school steps talking about, all this whiteness and what all this racist shit. And, people are holding it up. That stuff is forever. Well, the left hasn't figured out that we are going through right now the kind of a golden age of black racism in this country, because blacks can't be racist. You've run into this working. Black people and minorities in the left, they just don't even think that they can be racist. And so these people get on television or they get on camera and they get in the public square and they behave and they say the most racist, bigoted things that in the future, I don't know if it's going to take 10 years, things tend to happen faster now. Like it takes 30 years to kind of look back and, for everyone to be ashamed of all the crazy crap that white people said in the 50s. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Is it going to take 30 years for black people to look back and be ashamed of all the crazy crap that black people were saying today? Or is it going to take 10 years?
I don't think it'll take 30 years because with the advent of, the internet, social media, the way things are, things spin a hell of a lot faster now than they did 20, 30 years ago. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to take 30 years for everyone to look back. I told a liberal buddy of mine the other day, the other day being probably a week or so ago, I told him, I said, the big statue of Martin Luther King that's in D.C., I said, is crying tears right now. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, back in the 60s when the civil rights movement was going on, I said, all these black civil rights leaders, I said, they fought, they bled, and they died to get rid of segregation and to make things equal. And there's a college out there right now. This is kind of old news. This is a couple weeks old, that at the request of the students, the college has set up, you've got your black dormitory. You've got your gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender 47 hike dormitory. And then you've got your all other dormitories. Now, first off, that's freaking illegal as hell because you're not allowed to have segregated dormitories as far as I know. And secondly, these millennials are taking everything these civil rights leaders did in the 60s and they're flushing it right down the freaking toilet. And one day, someone's going to wake up and actually have the balls to tell these kids to fucking stop. Well, Harvard just had a black graduation.
I heard about. Did they actually have it? Or were they proposing it?
Hell, I don't know. I mean, there's so much news flying around right now. But think about it. The fact that they even were talking about it, whether they had it or not, a segregated graduation ceremony. Oh, this is the all-black graduation ceremony, and then we're going to hold a separate everyone else ceremony. Do you think 20 years ago, if Harvard came up and said, you know what, we're going to have a ceremony for everyone that graduates, and then we're going to have a separate ceremony just for the black graduates? Do you realize how much of a shitstorm the left would be raising? I mean, it's insane.
Well, it's not insane. It's actually pretty logical. If you objectively look at what's happening in a certain segment of our society, what you've got is you've kind of got I would call it the hate America crowd, the the neo-communists, anarchists that have co-opted the idea of this social justice, anti-Western civilization group, and they've totally co-opted the left, and they're stone cold bigots and racists and anti-liberal with an L, liberal Western thought and everything that we kind of stand for. It's truly, I mean, to encapsulate it. To say it again, it is truly the golden age of black racism. We are going through it. I mean, think about all we see the reports of, the crimes that certain segments of the population commit against other segments of the population based off a race that are never really picked up by the mainstream media. I mean, like brutal stuff based, it's literally the inverse of like Emmett Till. You've got, certain ethnic groups that are deliberately murdering and assaulting and raping other ethnic groups, and they're selecting based off of ethnicity, but it's never being brought into the national consciousness because the left and the black community can't be racist according to popular political thought. And there's a reckoning coming. I don't know what that's going to be. I mean, it'll take another. I mean, I don't know what it. I mean, who knows what it's going. I mean, maybe it'll take another Reverend Martin Luther King to come out and basically be like, "This is crazy." I mean. The what passes for I hate to say it like this, but what passes for black intellectual thought today is mostly a bunch of racists and communists.
Yeah,
and because
I totally agree.
I mean, look, and people don't like it when I say that. I could get a lot of blowback for this, and people can make all kinds of crazy comments. And, they would end up being wrong, and we're not going to prove to that why. But just look at Thomas Sowell. Look what happens to Condoleezza Rice. Look what happens to who's the guy? He's now with Trump's. Is his Trump's HUD secretary? He ran for
Ben Carson.
Dr. Ben Carson. I mean, think about how. I mean, Tom or Kane or these people get marginalized.
Well, okay.
By the communist racists that have taken over the left.
Well, it's the same. Yeah, exactly. Like, for example, I just saw a headline blurb. I didn't read the article or get any details, but I think it was in Florida. I could be wrong on that. But, I think this month is like the Gay Pride Month where all the gays have their pride parades, which is fine. But they actually banned pro-Trump gays from marching in their gay pride parade. It's like,
really?
It's like, wow. You guys have this month where you show your pride parades for your gayness or whatever they're trying to prove, which is fine, but yet we're trying to pull all of our people together to show solidarity. But hey, if you're a Trump supporter, fuck you. You can't march with us because we're the good gays and you're the bad gays. And it's like, really?
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, I wasn't aware of that. If you listen to the militant gay argument, and look, everybody has, there's some basis in truth in all of this, I guess, in some level. You know, the argument the gays were making were that, you know, what is it? We're here and we're queer, or, you know, like one point they were trying to claim that 20% of the population is gay, bi, curious, confused, or lost, or whatever their thing was, which, you know, is probably really high. But the arguments that it's interesting because, you know, let's say it's,
let's go with their number. Let's say it's 20%. I agree. I think that's high, but so what?
Yeah, they wish it was 20%. They're people that are, you know, whatever, you know, people with an agenda. But, you know, sure. Whatever. Let's say it's, how come their argument is that, you know, 20%, you're right, 20% of the population is this way, and we, quote, need to be represented more fairly and equitably in society to reflect the you know, that we're here and we're this and we're that, except in the Republican Party, except if you're a conservative, except if you support Donald Trump. You know, it's, you know, their arguments, you know, it's like we're everywhere. We're in the military. We're in the, you know, all these places where you don't think gay people are because they're just not, because for whatever stereotypical reason. But if, you know, like, I'm curious if would this gay pride group, would they be okay with, you know, I don't know, a float from like the Air Force Academy. I mean, I don't mean to rip on the Air Force, but like, you know, the Air Force Academy graduation, you know, gay fraternity. You know, I'm curious. They'd be like, well, okay, maybe. Well, the Air Force or, you know, the Navy Academy, they're all okay with that. Okay, yeah, we can be gay and be in the military, but you can't be gay and be, I guess, a log cabin Republican.
No,
I mean,
no,
you know,
can't.
it's like what the, you know,
because if you're a conservative, you're not a real gay.
I would have to defer to Milo on that one. I can't ever say his last name still. I'm still trying to learn his last name. Yanopoulos?
I don't know. Look, I love that guy. I do. I love Milo.
God. You know, that guy is literally like the Jedi Master.
Look, here's why he's so hated. Milo should be the poster child for every homosexual in this country, but he's a conservative, and he tells it like it is. And they hate him because he's like the anti-poster child. Mm-hmm. But, you know, look.
They should love him. He's not a religious conservative.
No, and that's the thing. Look, if a conservative is wrong, he'll call him out just as quick as he'll call anyone else out. Look, you don't have to like the guy, but you kind of have to respect him for what he is.
I find him very entertaining.
I find him entertaining. He's extremely intelligent. It's really, really hard for any of these leftists to get the better of him because he's very well educated and he knows his subject matter. And, you know, look, you don't have to agree with the guy. You don't have to like his lifestyle. You don't have to like him personally. But the truth is, in his particular situation, the left community hates this guy with the passion. Look, they hate like Ann Coulter, for example, because she's a conservative woman, but Milo being a white gay guy that dates nothing but like black gay guys, he should be like, I mean, he should be singing the leftist agenda from the rooftops.
That's right. I forgot about that. He only dates black men. That's right. Yeah. I forgot about that. Apparently he's Jewish too. Is that right?
Well, yeah, no, yeah, exactly. He's a gay Jewish white guy who dates gay black men. I mean, dude, he should be their poster child, but the fact that he's a conservative, dude, they just hate that.
He's like that scene in Dune, the movie, when these people had these weird body shields, and they're the only thing, they're like the slow blade penetrates the shield. It's you can hit it hard and hard and hard and hard, but but Milo's like the one thing, he just gets right through.
Look, I mean, like I said, I love the guy, I really do. He's awesome, because the truth is, the right now needs guys like him, because it's here's the thing. The left likes to call Milo, and I get the biggest chuckle out of this, they like to call him a white supremacist. And it's real easy for the left to call a guy like me a white supremacist, because, I'm not, but, it's real easy to label me that. But it's hard to label a gay Jewish white guy who dates black men a white supremacist.
He's unstoppable. Well, you know what? Look,
exactly. And that's why the right, love him, hate him, or indifferent, that's why the people on the right need a guy like Milo.
Well, I actually believe he had, he kind of had a, I guess he's, quote, coming back. He had a setback when he had discussed, and I'm not sure how this works. Maybe he's Jewish. But maybe there was some priest or religious person when he was younger he must have had an affair with, or when he was a minor. So he made some comments that were not, I'm not exactly sure. But so anyway, he's working his way back. But here's the point I wanted to make. I think that probably saved his life, because it kind of knocked him off the track for a little bit. And you and I said this publicly. I said, somebody's going to kill that kid. Yeah. Someone's going to shoot him. And I was getting worried about him. I was like, somebody's going to take a shot at him. And because the left is they are just beside themselves. And just look how violent everything has become.
Well, yeah. Did you see the video clip? I don't know who the guy is. I don't know if he's a conservative news guy or a conservative radio guy.
Oh, dude, I did see that.
The two snowflakes that ran up behind him and like sucker punched him, and he ended up like getting the better of the two of them.
Dude, he threw down on those kids.
Dude, he went to town on them, and it was just, I guarantee you, at the end of the day, these kids are like, when he hit that one kid upside the head, I guarantee you that was a come to Jesus moment.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Because how many times have we discussed in the past? I said, I've said to you on many occasions, the biggest problem with the millennial generation is not enough of them have been punched in the face.
Oh, dude, we talked about this in relation to the self-defense community. I mean,
and this is, you get all these Antifa people and all these little liberal college kids, snowflakes out there. They want to wear their bandanas and their hoodies up to hide their identity, and they want to throw rocks and sticks and fireworks, and they want to hit conservatives or punch a Nazi, I think is the quote they use. But the truth is, none of these
socialists, just saying.
I know, but that's their phrase, not mine.
Yeah.
But not one of these let's punch a Nazi little shitheads, very few of them have ever been actually punched in the face. How many of them have actually been in a fight where they took a full tilt boogie punch to the face? I have, many times. I can't even count how many times I've been punched in the face.
I have recurring dental visits from, this is no joke. I mean, I've got steel implant, I've got metal implants in my mouth from all the slugging.
Yes. I mean, look, I mean, I'm not proud of all the scuffles I've been in over the years. But I've survived them, you know, and look, if I got punched in the face today, which, by the way, I'm hoping I don't get punched in the face today, but if I got punched in the face today, it wouldn't faze me. It wouldn't cripple my life. It wouldn't give me a come to Jesus moment because, hey, been there, done that.
Well, how many, I mean, like, you know, we addressed this on the podcast before, but, you know, how many kids today, because, you know, everything has to be a goddamn frickin' 911 call now. Mm-hmm. You know, every time someone gets punched in the face or there's even moderate fisticuffs, you gotta, I mean, people just, it's almost like attempted murder. I mean, you know, and you know, I mean, now you know, some kid gets his bell rung, he pulls out a gun and shoots somebody.
Yeah. It's
like you're 20 years old. You can take a hit. You don't need to shoot. You don't have to go get a gun and shoot that guy. Go take a boxing class.
Hey, I don't know, 16, 17 years old, hanging out at a buddy of mine's house. Him and his brother shared a bedroom upstairs on the second floor of this house. And his neighbor, a guy named John, who happens to be dead now, OD'd. Quite a few years ago. He's been dead for probably 10 years, but he was a worthless.
Elephant hair on.
Guys, before elephant hair on, he was a piece of shit. Always has been. Well, we were all up, you know, hanging out in his bedroom, and my buddy's older brother, I was sitting on his bed, and he always kept a baseball bat next to his bed because, you know, he's a big baseball guy. You know, played a lot of baseball, softball, shit like that. And John was over there playing with an air rifle, and he took a pencil and broke the lead off of a piece of pencil and chambered it in the air rifle and said, "What would you do if I shot you with this right now?" I said, "Well, John," I said, "I'm going to beat the crap out of you if you do." And he laughed, and he pointed the gun at me, and he pulled the trigger. I still have a little mark on my side where the lead went in. I grabbed that baseball bat, and I swung it as hard as I could, and I hit him upside the head with it. Ripped his ear half off of his head. Had to go down. I mean, he was out cold. I looked at him, threw the baseball bat down on him, looked at my buddy Jeff and said, "Jeff, I'll see you later." And I walked out and went home.
Oh, my God, you fled the scene of a crime.
Well, you know, I didn't flee.
I know, but I'm just saying what they would say on the internet now.
But my point is, you know, Jeff revived him. His parents had to take him to the hospital to get his ear sewn back on. And the next time I was over at my buddy's house and I saw John, you know, there was no issue. I mean, he didn't like me. I didn't like him. But, you know, he realized that I was not above taking a baseball bat and beating him with it. So basically it was, you know, everything was resolved at that point.
Hey, you know, the TV investigators would say that you're the number one suspect, that you went into his stash and you spiked it with elephant hair on and caused him to OD.
Whatever. I mean, you know, look, and that's the difference between the 80s.
Oh, dude, today, I mean, I hate to say it like this, but dude, today, you'd probably been brought up on felonious. You'd have a felony.
Oh no, I would have went to jail. And you know, here's the thing: John's dad was a cop.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, whatever. I mean, yeah, I mean, but this, I mean,
no, but what I'm saying is I didn't have to pay any. My parents didn't have to pay any medical bills. There was no arrest. There was no charges. It was what it was. You know, I mean, they took him to the hospital. He got sewed up and they did what they had to do. He had a concussion and shit like that. And it was like, well, what happened? You know, and Jeff, who was his neighbor, said, well, John shot him in the side with an air rifle and he hit him in the head with a baseball bat. And it was like, okay.
Yeah, whereas today the kids would be like, well, my dad's a cop and I'm going to get you, and like you can't touch him because his dad's a cop. You know, whereas back in the day, even the cops would be like, fuck you, you deserved it.
Yep.
You know, I mean. Well,
I mean, yeah, it was a different time. And look, I'm not saying I was right, and I'm not saying that maybe I didn't escalate it over what the situation required. But the point is, as a teenager, I didn't take that kind of crap, and I don't take it now. And but with that same attitude, there's been times where I've been on the bottom end of the stick, in fights, because anyone who said they've won every fight they've been in is a liar.
Yeah, not everything needs to be adjudicated or needs to involve the cops.
No, hell no. Very seldom were cops involved in any type of kid scuffles. But then again, kids weren't carrying guns and shooting each other either.
Yeah. Hey, I want to tell you a story that got by us. This is just along the political correctness thing. And it's back in January, but dude, I thought it was so awesome. I just wanted to tell you this. Swiss town denies passport to Dutch vegan because she's, quote, too annoying.
Wow. That's actually awesome. And
look, everybody knows that like vegans and CrossFitters are just like almost insufferable.
They are. They are. I actually know a vegan couple.
Oh fuck.
Dude, I do. And honestly, they're great people. They're very nice, but yeah, their veganism is I call it their vegan cult. It's like, wow. Yeah, but I find that I find that amusing because vegans can be very annoying.
Well, here's you can tell how annoying she is. She's got a photograph of herself with a cowbell around her neck. I don't even know why. You could tell there's probably some message there. So anyway, here's the story. A Dutch vegan who applied for a Swiss passport has had her application rejected because the locals found her too annoying. Nancy Holton, 42, moved to Switzerland from the Netherlands when she was 8 years old and now has children who are Swiss nationals. However, when she tried to get a Swiss passport for herself, residents of, Gif Oberfrick in the canton of Aargau rejected her application. Let's see here. Miss Holton, a vegan and animal rights activist, has campaigned against the use of cowbells in the village, and her actions have annoyed the locals. That's the cowbell reference, I guess. The residents' committee argued that if she does not accept Swiss traditions and a Swiss way of life, she should not be able to become an official national. Oh, shit. Miss Holton told local media, quote, the bells, which the cows have to wear when they walk to and from the pasture, are especially heavy. The animals carry around 5 kilograms around their neck. It causes friction and burns to their skin. She added, the sound that cowbells make is 100 decibel. It is comparable to a pneumatic drill. We also would not want such a thing hanging close to our ears. Oh, God. Tanya Sutter, the president of the local Swiss People's Party, which sounds like socialist, claimed Miss Holton has a, quote, big mouth. The residents did not want to grant her citizenship, quote, if she annoys us and doesn't respect our traditions. Responding to the rejection, Miss Holton said, I think I spoke my mind too often. They say I was out too loud. Yeah, this is, dude, look, there's something to be said about social norms or being able to get along.
Yeah.
I just thought that was awesome. So this vegan woman.
I'm going to one up you on the awesomeness.
Oh, goddamn Google. Okay, go ahead.
I saw this. I think maybe yesterday. Mm-hmm. College professor says white marble statues promote racism. Basically, they're saying the white marble statues from Greek and Roman antiquity, because they're white, promotes racism. University of Iowa professor Sarah Bond, it says, declared this week that white marble statues promote racism and influence white supremacist ideas.
Wow.
Dude, you can't make this crap up.
Well, okay, look, we are in the golden age of, quote, black racism.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it. And it's interesting because the left is so invested in this argument that you remember we had both seen the video of the girl, the young woman. She works for, is it Philadelphia PTL-17? She was a in a comedy club and drunk, and a lot of people have seen the video.
Yeah.
And that cop is just really trying to just get through this. He's working a detail.
Dude, that cop is so laid back. It's like, I mean, he really, really was like, oh, I mean, you could just tell it was like, good Lord.
Yeah, but but you could you're watching her talk. And first of all, I don't believe she was drugged. And second of all, I don't believe that's not her personality. I don't remember what her name was, but I don't believe for 1 second, like, all her college friends and people that know her aren't like, oh shit, there's Candy drunk again. You know what I mean? They're just like,
yes.
yeah.
She was not drugged. And if you watch that video, the guy that was with her, I don't know who that guy was. I don't know if it was her boyfriend or just a friend or whatever. He was trying his best without creating a scene to calm her down, and he was talking to the cop, to keep her from being arrested. But
he didn't seem shocked by her behavior. He wasn't like, no. Damn, what's wrong with you? Won't you chill out? That wasn't his first rodeo.
If you watch the video and you concentrate on the guy that was with her, you could tell just by his I don't know, it was like a 2-3 minute video, something like that, maybe, whatever the time it was. The whole time you're watching him, you could tell he was just disgusted. Like, it was just kind of like, oh, good Lord. And you could tell this wasn't his first rodeo with her drunk dumbass either.
Yeah. But it was interesting when you listen to her talk. See, these people, they're so just ate up with these arguments. When she's talking to this black cop, she's a white girl. And you could almost see that she's basically using that whole, like, racist cop, Black Lives Matter argument against this cop. She's why we hate you, shoot you in the face and hate you guys, and this is all this and all that. And she's just obnoxious piece of shit. And I guess I've heard she's lost her job. She didn't even know she was being videotaped. Apparently she got a call from HR at her work, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to be terminating you because of the videotape." And she's like,
"What videotape?"
Yeah. So, but then, I mean, this is how terrible she is. And then she goes into this whole like, "I'm cute and I need special treatment," and it was just, I was like, "Oh my!" I mean, she goes into the whole like, everybody hates cops, Black Lives Matter argument, and then she goes into this whole, I'm cute and I'm going to be whatever. I mean, just horrible person.
Yes.
But the left, that's what they are now. Their entire argument, everything is about being a black racist, even if you are a white person.
Yes.
And that's why you've got white people pretending to be black people now. Because it's on the left, victimhood is power. Victimhood is, if you're a victim, you've got standing. And, we are literally in the golden age of black racism. And, eventually things will even out. It may be when you and I are either really old or dead, but, a reckoning's coming. People are going to be really embarrassed by, they're going to have their George Wallace moments with a lot of these videotapes. 30 years from now, people are going to be like, can you believe the shit that was going on back in the 20 teens?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of along the same lines of what you're talking about, did you hear about the latest on Sean King?
I ignore that dude. That dude is such a piece of shit. That guy's a piece of work.
Okay, well, the fake black guy, Sean King, is jumping on the pumpernickel train, and because apparently pumpernickel got turned down by Seattle, and that's like his last shot. Basically, No one in the NFL wants him. Seattle was looking at him, and they picked some other guy over him, and Sean King's jumping on his, bandwagon. And this guy named Clay Travis, and I don't really follow football and sports. I mean, I'm sure a lot of our listeners know who Clay Travis is. I actually don't. But regardless, he sent out a tweet, and he said, he tweeted to Sean King and said, "I'll give $50,000 to Colin Kaepernick. What?
Yeah,
Pumpernickel.
Pumpernickel. We call him Pumpernickel.
Pumpernickel's charity. If you take a DNA test and are more than 25% black." So this guy is willing to give $50K to Pumpernickel's charity if Sean King can prove he's 25% black. And of course, Sean King is pretty silent about it because he can't take a DNA test because he's 100% white.
Well, look, the truth is, we don't know that he's 100% white. There is a possibility that he is somewhat or partially or whatever percentage black, which is fine. Well, but the thing is, hold on, let me make the point. Here's the problem. This is a business for him. Okay, he's portraying himself as a black person, or a somewhat black person, or half black person.
He's claiming biracial. His mom had an affair with a black man, so he's claiming half black, half white. That's his shtick.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, his shtick. Let's be real. That's his business, dude. That's his business. He's operating as a business, as a brand, as a black guy. So a test comes out and they're like, "Oh, I'm black. I told you." Ha ha. I mean, it's not like he's going to start making more money, but statistically speaking, and there's a chance that it may work out to be this way, he could take this test and then he's got nothing. I mean, from a business, if I was his personal advisor, I would be like, "Nah, man, don't take that test because you got no upside here. You take that test, you're going to be like Maury Povich show."
Yeah, no, exactly. It's, right now he can claim all he wants to claim.
Mm-hmm. And he's getting away with it because we're at the apex, a golden age of black racism. Mm-hmm. And, that works out great.
He's kind of getting away with it.
Like Rachel Dolezal.
Look, maybe he's making money off of it. Maybe he's not. I don't know. But the truth is, the majority of the people who know who Sean King is, the vast majority of them realize that he's a white dude, posing as a black guy.
Yeah. Hey, let me change gears here because we've been talking for like 50 minutes and we haven't talked anything about guns, unless it's little white girls trying to talk about shooting black cops' heads off.
Yeah.
Obviously know what a German MP40 is, right? I mean, you all people.
A what?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you're aware of this gun. There is a company in Germany called German Sport Guns, and they are repopping an MP40, quote, pistol. They're selling it as a pistol form, 9mm. They're all metal, mostly metal. It fires from a closed bolt, not an open bolt, so they can get into the country. And I guess, American Tactical's bringing them in, and they're for sale for $649.
I am very familiar with GSG.
Okay.
They make a lot of clones, I guess we'll say.
Mm-hmm. I know they'd had the 20. I saw the 22. Maybe even was it NRA or SHOT Show a while, and I'm not interested in I'm not interested in these 22 clones. But
no. GSG does make a 1911. It's in 22. And look, if you wanted a 1911 22. I mean, I guess they're okay. My whole thing is, for the money, you're better off just buying a 22 conversion kit for your 1911. But look, if you wanted a full-blown 22 1911 in 22, rimfire, then sure. They don't do a damn thing for me, but I see where people, would be interested in that.
Mm-hmm. Here's a statement from the company. American Tactical and GSG are excited to bring to the United States the very first reproduction of the original World War II MP40 and 9mm, which probably confuses the hell out of people. Manufactured as a pistol with no stock, the replica classic firearm is the closest version of the MP40 to be importable in decades. While maintaining a close overall appearance to the original World War II firearm, the GSG MP40P pistol is manufactured with all new parts to U.S. regulation specs for importation. The firearm ships in a cardboard box. Wooden crates are no longer available. You know what? I remember seeing them. I think it was at SHOT Show in the wooden crates, and they were 22, and I thought it sucked. Comes from the factory with one 25-round magazine and a loading assistance accessory. Additional magazines are in stock and available for order by clicking the link. Whatever. Let's see. Let's see here. This pistol is not compatible with the original MP40 parts or magazines. The magazine part sucks. These are 922R compliant. Here's the thing. I've kept an eye out for these things. I mean, I haven't seen any for sale. I still want to get a Galil Ace. But dude, they're MSRP in this for $649.
And that's not a bad price.
Dude, I thought this would be a lot more expensive. $649 for real? That's cheaper than a Glock.
But GSG has very affordable guns. They're also the company that made the Sturmgewehr, the STG-44, and they also make a clone of the H&K MP5.
Aren't those also in 22?
You can get them in 22, but I do believe...
Dude, everybody's cloning the MP5. I mean, like, the Zenith is doing them now?
Yeah, I believe you can get the MP5 at 9mm. I don't know if the Sturmgewehr is in anything other than 22, but I know the STG-44 was originally in 22. So
well, I know HMG's obviously doing the company in Texas is doing, or no, they may be in Atlanta, doing the STG-44 Sturmgewehr repop, and they're supposedly going to be coming out. I guess also this month the Hudson H9 is supposed to be shipping, which, look, I don't have a lot of. I mean, I have no indication of this. I don't expect that gun to totally take over the market or even to be crazy reliable. But you know what? I maybe might pick one up one day, because the truth is that gun may not be around forever, and it'd be an interesting gun to have.
We talked about the Hudson, I believe on a previous podcast.
Yeah, we did. But it's now June, so they should be shipping. I'm interested in the Hudson. I mean, I'm not interested in going out and buying one, but if one came along at a decent price, I don't know, I'd be interested in playing with it. It wouldn't be, look, let me put it to you like this. Would I want to carry it? Would I want to shoot it off? And no, but to throw it on the rack in the armory to break out every now and again, yeah, at the right price, I think that would not be a bad thing. I'll tell you, that's going to be the toughie, because they don't have the scale. That's not going to be a cheap gun. If that gun is under $1,500, I'll be shocked.
MSRP on the Hudson, if I remember correctly from when we were talking about them a while back, is around $1,200.
Really? Okay. Oh, we'll see.
I believe. See. Now, I don't quote me on the $1,200 price. That's just what sticks in my mind. But if MSRP is $1,200, that means you're going to be able to pick these up for about $1,000. Now, to the guys that have a drawer full of Glocks, that's might be a lot more money than they're willing to spend on a gun that, Well, let's face it, man. It's a gun that may or may not make it, but if you kind of like to have weird boutique guns, the Hudson is if anyone listening is not familiar with the Hudson, just do a Google search on it and read up on it. It's a really interesting gun.
It is. Look, I want to support Hudson for a couple reasons. One, it's an American manufacturer. Two, it's something different. It's someone trying to think outside the box. And three, finally, I mean, in a previous life, I've crossed paths with the owner of Hudson. I mean, we've met. I don't know if I ever told you that, Freeze. But
look, the Hudson offers a lot of neat things. What I like about it is it's got Trigicon sights. It's got G10 VZ grips with I think it's got a Hogue lower back strap or something like that, but that also G10, and I'm a big fan of G10. I carry my daily carry 1911 that I keep in my rotation has G10 grips on it. I'm a big fan of the VZ G10 grips.
Sure.
I mean, it standard out of the box features. It has some nice upgrades to it that come standard with the gun. I mean, it's interesting.
The gun hasn't actually hit the market, so we'll just have to see what happens with.
Look, it could be a pig in a poke. It could be a total freaking turd for all we know. We'll have to see. But another thing is, if I'm not mistaken, isn't the Hudson supposed to be like under 2 pounds unloaded?
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the things they're not doing a polymer lower, I don't believe yet. I mean, they will eventually upgrade. Look,
I would have to look it up, but I think the gun's pretty freaking light.
I have a hard time believing it's going to be light. At least the first generation. I mean, look, here's the thing. I am not going to hold. This is going to sound really crappy, and if someone is in like Austria or Germany or whatever, it's a competitor, they would just say that I'm being unfairly biased towards an American company. And this isn't necessarily true, but I'm not going to hold the Hudson, the Generation 1 gun, to as high a standard function-wise as I would, say, a SIG 320 or a Glock or HK VP9 or any of these other guns, because I want there to be a Generation 2. I want there to be a Generation 3. I want Hudson to be around in 15, 20, 30, 40 years. I think it would benefit everybody. And so, I'm more of a rifle guy than a pistol guy when it comes to having like one-off guns, because like strange odd pistols, I don't generally. They're not all that difficult. Most pistols are very similar. But the Hudson may end up in the armory one day, and if it works half the time, well, you know what? It's a reference gun for us. It's fine. Hey, let me
Wow, we just to interject here. While you were talking, I just did a Google search on Hudson H9, and according to Wikipedia, because that's the first thing that popped up, unloaded weight is 34 ounces.
Okay.
It's a hair over 2 pounds.
Yeah, I thought, I was like, that gun's not gonna be under goddamn 2 pounds. I was like,
yeah, okay, so I am wrong. It's over 2 pounds, not by much.
They were even saying, like at SHOT Show, that one of the things with this gun is they're not gonna compete on the weight of a modern striker gun. They're gonna try to get the ergos of a striker gun to the 1911 people. Excuse me. So that's where they're not gonna. This gun has gotten progressively lighter as they've done revisions on it. And again, if there's a Gen 2, Gen 3, they may think about doing compact guns, officers' guns. They may end up thinking about doing. You might even see us maybe even a single stack one day. That would take a while. But I want there to be a Hudson company in I want that company to at least be around these next 20, 30 years just to see what can happen. So, hey,
yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting platform.
Well, let me throw this one at you because I don't think you've heard about this. Because, everyone knows you're like an unrepentant SIG fanboy, and it's almost like obnoxious. And so, you are almost insufferable that the SIG 320 has become, the de facto service pistol for.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my new Lamborghini that we bet.
We bet a Lamborghini?
No, probably we probably just bet a cup of coffee, but but I thought I'd slip the Lambo in.
I knew this was bullshit because you wouldn't bet a goddamn Lamborghini. You bet like a freaking Goat GTO or something. So all right,
no, actually, I'd probably
a Cuda.
A Vespa scooter or something like that.
So okay, check this out. Hold on, let me throw this at you. The SIG 320. Again, I've never fired one. I fiddled with one in a store once. I'm not in a rush to run out and get one. I eventually will probably have to. But it's got that fire control group, which is the trigger, right?
Yes.
And I don't even know why I didn't see this coming. I just can't even believe I didn't see this coming. So, I guess there's a company that is coming out. Oh shit! The company's called Ghost Guns.
Yeah,
Ghost Guns is selling an 80. They're in the process of developing an 80% fire control group.
Yes.
And the thing is, I don't know. I'd have to look at a fire control group because you'd have to drill holes in it. You'd have to put in the trigger. Return spring, you have to, they would have to be. I'm just curious how the average user could do that. But the argument, what they're trying to do is they're going to sell you an 80% fire control group. You can buy this thing, punch out the holes yourself, insert some of the springs and parts. You now have, quote, a firearm that I don't even think has a serial number on it. You don't have to go through 4473, and you just buy the slides and body. Like this, how much is a body for a SIG 320? Like $40?
Well, look, I've actually heard. I heard about this coming down the pike a while ago because, I kind of followed the SIG thing because, well, I don't like to say it, but, I'm kind of a fan of SIG. But,
yeah.
But, yeah, I heard about this coming. And the thing here's my problem with with this 80% fire control group. If you already have a SIG 320 and you've got maybe a couple different slides and a couple different bodies and you've got, all the different components to make, to convert your 320 because it's convertible. It's not a bad idea to buy this and then drill it out to where you have a second fire control group so you can actually have more than one gun. But if you're like, I want to get into a SIG P320 and I'm going to buy this 80% fire control group, finish it out myself, and then buy all the components to make a gun, the truth is, in the long run, you'd be better off just buying a complete SIG P320.
You know what? You're 100% right, because the economics of this aren't going to work out.
Exactly. But if you're into the 320 and you have multiple different slides and, and you bought, extra parts to where your gun is convertible, you can actually put yourself into 2 or 3 different handguns at an affordable price by doing this. I mean, so it's not that it's out of the realm of possibility, but the thing is, if you're just like, yeah, I'm going to get me a cheap 320, this is not the route to go.
Well, don't you think one of the issues besides the economics, because the truth, at the end of the day, the economics have to work out, and people can talk about ghost guns and all this and all that. all they want.
By the way, I hate the term ghost gun.
I know, but it's a bullshit term. But and actually 80% lower is a bullshit term too, because it's not 80%. But I think the technical problems with this idea as opposed to like an AR is, like the write-up that Scott Mayer did for us on that plastic lower that you hog out and you make your own AR. You buy that thing, you hog it out. The hardest part is the trigger. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. And the AR, you can buy triggers and just drop them in. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I haven't ever looked that closely at how this fire control group is laid out, but I question whether the average person has the technical ability to assemble a trigger in this, because you're not going to be able to drop a trigger into it.
Well,
you're going to have to build the trigger system into it.
Yeah, but like Apex, you're familiar with Apex Tactical.
Yeah, the trigger company.
Yeah, they make a 320 trigger that's a drop-in trigger. It's like $45.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and you're right. A modular body, the 320, body, grip module body is like around $40. I mean,
the drop-in trigger from Apex, is it just a trigger shoe, or is it as a series of springs? I mean, or is it everything? Like, because you need all these pins.
It's just the trigger.
What's your definition of the trigger? The trigger shoe, the part you make contact with? Is it a whole system where it's pins and springs?
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, the Apex doesn't make the whole trigger system.
When you say trigger system, are you talking about the trigger, or are you talking about the fire control group? Because I'm talking about the parts to make a trigger work.
I'm talking about just a trigger.
Okay,
it's just
because where are you going to get? Because it's to make a trigger work, you need more. Like the part that comes down, we call that the trigger shoe, the thing most people touch. Okay, where are you going to get these parts? This company, this ghostguns.com, is probably, because SIG's not going to sell that shit to you. Because SIG, you call up SIG and you're like, you know how these fucking guys are. Hey, I'm having trouble with my, can I get a replacement spring or replacement this or replacement that for my, they're like, send your trigger group in, we'll fix it.
No, but here's the thing. You can buy a fire control unit, that's got everything in it. That's got, you can buy all the parts that you need. But again, here's where the economics come in. Dude, it's going to cost you $150 to buy all the parts. And again, again, at the price of what it's going to cost you to buy all the parts, like if you're like, okay, I bought this 80% fire control group and I'm going to drill it out, and now I have to build a SIG P320 from scratch from this part. I got to build it up from this part. You're going to have more money invested in that gun than if you just went out and bought a brand new one. So that's where,
and I question, on top for all that goodness, you're going to end up with a lot of people that have fucked up guns because their trigger systems aren't going to work. I really question the average home gamer's ability to assemble a trigger. A complete trigger.
See, I don't know. I kind of disagree with you on that. I mean, look.
The trigger and the sear and all the shit that goes in there.
It's not that hard.
I mean, we'll see.
I mean, it's not that hard. You have to be able to, self-rescue. If you're not a guy that can self-rescue, then it's not for you.
Yeah. I just, because, look, like this, not to beat a dead horse here, but, the AR-15, people that, quote, build AR-15s, let's be real, you're not building shit. You're buying all these parts and just dropping them in because it's Mr. Potato Head.
Yes.
And one of the hardest things to do, and again, No one wants to admit this. One of the hardest things to do in these rifles is the whole entire trigger mechanism. That's why there's a reason why companies like Geisley and Timney make a lot. How many guys? Y'all make my own triggers. No, you're not, because it's fucked up. You end up with a machine gun or a gun that doesn't even fire at all. And
yes.
you know, this system is not set up where a quote trigger is just a packaged unit you buy from a company and drop it in. You have to assemble this. You have to drill all this stuff. You have to get all the geometry right, even if you can get the parts and get it all to interface correctly. And I just, you know, for all that goodness, you may end up with a gun that may shit the bed on you, and you're still in it for $400, and might as well just buy a goddamn SIG.
Well, I mean, look.
But it is one more interesting point.
I think you give people too little credit. I really do.
Well, if the economics don't work out.
But getting back on topic, SIG sells the and you're familiar with this, with the 320, because it's convertible. You know, they sell what they call the caliber exchange X-change kit. You know, that way you can convert your SIG P320 to different calibers and whatnot. You know, that's the whole thing.
Are they changing a slide for the different breech faces?
Well, yeah, with the exchange kit, you get a slide of barrel, an encapsulated mainspring, a body, and a magazine. And these kits cost about between $300 and $350. But okay, say you got a 320 and 9mm and you want to change it to 40 Smith & Wesson, or vice versa. $320 is not bad for a kit that you can convert your gun from one caliber to another. Now, this is where this 80% kit comes into play. Now, you buy the 80% fire control group, and you finish it out. If you already, say you're into the SIG 320 and you bought 2 or 3 of these different exchange kits where you can convert to, say, 2 or 3 different calibers, this is where it comes in handy. If you already have a 320 platform and you already have a few of the kits for caliber exchanges, then you buy this fire control group. Then you do have to actually build it from there with the whole trigger and all that mechanism. Then you can actually build yourself at a fairly affordable price. Once you're already invested in the kits, you can build yourself 2 or 3 separate guns at a fairly affordable price. But you already have to be invested in the 320 platform before it becomes affordable.
So let me ask you this. So I don't know the answer to this, and I don't know if this will change. Is SIG, just as a business, will SIG sell fire control groups right now? Like, if I call SIG and I'm like, I just want a fire control group, send it my FFL, and I'll do the 4473 on it. Will SIG sell people fire control groups right now?
I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can buy them.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You assume you can.
No. I'm 100% sure you can buy a fire control group.
What is SIG selling a fire control group for? The gun. That's the gun.
I think a fire control group's around $300. And that's the Ghost Guns is selling the 80% fire control. That includes that. That's 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And it includes all the encapsulated parts, the trigger, and all the mechanisms to make it work. It's a complete fire control group.
From Ghost Guns.
No. I'm talking about, you can buy them from SIG.
Well, SIG, yeah. SIG is going to sell, if you buy a fire control, well, yeah, I'm assuming. If I'm going to buy a fire control group from SIG, it's going to be, it's all there. It's the gun,
it's all there.
And that's $300.
It's $350.
And the reason it's that expensive is so they don't cut their legs off on the retail price of a gun. But I got to tell you, I don't know what a Ghost Gun 80% fire control group is going to cost, and then the parts and the labor and the lack of faith in the entire system. Man, I don't know if the economics even work against a $300 fire control group from SIG. I just don't know if they do. But this point is really interesting. This point is really interesting. We are one step closer. This is as close as we have ever gotten from the mythical idea that people will be able to truly build guns from like 3D printers at home. This fire control group concept is, I mean, this is Star Wars shit. Like, people imagine 20 years ago having this conversation, people are like, you're out of your goddamn mind.
Yeah. No. Oh, I totally agree. It's a game changer. I say it's a game changer. I'm not saying it's an affordable or even a practical game changer, but it is a game changer.
But it's interesting because, if this works out and, like my concerns about the average home gamer to be able to get some of this stuff to work right, because some of this stuff has to be really closely toleranced, and so it's going to be incumbent on Ghost Guns to come up with jigs to make all that work. Here's the thing. A home 3D printer could probably make this work. Or a computer CNC. I mean, technology is not, you don't need to spend $40,000 to get the technology to be able to make to be able to finish these out so they do work.
Well, look.
It's interesting.
No, it is interesting. But we've talked about this before. Freedom 15. I'm
not remembering what that is.
Well, what it is, it's basically a company that sells basically the molds and the resin, and for like $300 to $350, I forget which. It's in that range. It's not super cheap, but it's not crazy expensive. It gives you enough resin to mold 5 AR lowers, and they're polymer lowers because you're making them out of resin. But they supply you with the molds, and they supply you with everything you need and the resin and the hardener, and you can change the colors. You can make them red, black, yellow, pink, whatever you want. But basically, for less than $350, you can mold 5 AR lowers. And these are 100% lowers.
See, I've never heard of this, but see, you're one of those kind of handy dudes this would go right up your alley. I guarantee because you've priced this, haven't you?
Yes, I've looked into it.
Because you're like, haven't you told me? And you're like, I'm be cracking out these AR lowers, bitches.
Look, in the future, I plan on doing an AR build, but right now I've kind of shelved that because we have the SP1 upper, and I know that's been kind of like on the back burner because of other projects. But since we got
you could mold us an SP1 lower?
Well, you know what? In theory, yes, but I would have to check with Freedom 15 to find if they have the molds for an SP1 lower. Because, a true SP1 lower doesn't have any fencing and all that stuff on it. So I would have to see what molds they have available. But in theory, I could. Well, actually, if it's a resin, even if it has fencing, I could
just take it off. But it would probably not be more economical just to buy a no-DAC spud lower.
Yeah, you know what? It would, but it wouldn't be as fun.
Yeah.
But my point is, one of my future projects is I want to build an AR, and I want to do it as cheaply as humanly possible. Now,
Anderson's pretty close to you.
I can leave my driveway and I can be in Anderson's parking lot in 20 minutes.
Don't they sell lowers for like $30 or something? Lowers? You can.
Yeah, 100% lowers for I don't know if it's $30, but under 50. Yeah. Under 50.
I think I've seen AIM do blowouts on it for like 30 and change.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So,
but one of my future projects is to build an AR to see, A functional AR that runs flawlessly. It may not have all the bells and whistles, and I'm not talking about, like throwing optics and shit like that, but I want to see how cheaply I can build a functional AR. I mean, if I can build one, for $300 or $400, might be a stretch, but I'd like to try. And that might be buying like some old, that might not be buying all the hot shit products. That might be like finding, like a chopped up GI AR parts kit where I buy the internals from it.
I can save you a lot of money right now. Just go out on the internet, buy EOTech used optic, and buy a key mod frickin' for it, and lowball the people. Be like, your stuff is shit. I'm gonna give you $10 for it. In Detroit, it's worth $50.
Oh wow, dude! Seriously, yeah. Hands
Dr.
up.
Detroit reference. There you go.
No, that's not Dr. Detroit reference.
Where's
that's
that from?
Trading Places reference.
Trading Place. I don't know movies. See.
Yeah, that's Trading Places.
I'm still getting my ass kicked on the internet from me not knowing who the
Greg Allman,
the Allman brothers. I'm sorry, is it Allman or Almond?
Allman, not Almond. It's not like the nut.
Yeah. Okay. It's still just Michael Jackson, Prince.
Jesus.
Hey, just because I don't think because I know you don't follow this. Do you know the government, the GAO, has officially told Glock to pound sand on the appeal for the 320? Since we're talking about a 320.
I actually sent you a link on that a few days ago. I don't know if you
that's
got
why
it.
I have it, because you sent it to me.
Yeah, and look, Glock had to try. I mean, realistically, look, if we were in Glock's
I'm hearing
place,
rumors. There's problems with the 320 already. I've been hearing rumors. There's been some issues. They're going to have to change some stuff on it.
Yeah, there was problems with the Beretta. I mean, yeah, whatever.
That's definitely true.
I mean, I'm not worried about problems with 320.
It's not all the Hurtenberg ammo bullshit excuse that everybody likes to throw around either. There were some issues. There's still some issues with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is. But look, once they commit, they're pretty much there. So whatever.
It's going to be interesting. So I mean, eventually, I'm probably going to have to get a 320. I'm putting it off. I won't get one with a thumb safety unless for some reason I have to. Hey, I just want to mention this because, hold on here. Let me go to because I just want to mention it, not because it's really that pertinent, but it's just the kind of stuff that we kind of watch over here at the Armory. If I can get this freaking thing to come up. I'm not going to say where this is from because this is not vetted. But it's just funny. Come on. Just kind of how stuff gets reported in foreign media and what passes as news. 2 North Korean citizens have been found dead at a hotel in West Moscow. The bodies were found in separate hotel rooms on Saturday, Russia's state-owned TASS news agency reported. Both are believed to have died of acute heart failure. Moscow police are now investigating the incident. Now, I haven't checked if this is like fake news or where this is really coming from. I haven't run this down, but I just was like, dude, that is just some crazy. I mean, heart failure, both of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, natural causes.
So, yeah, isn't that awesome? It's amazing how many people in Russia die of natural causes and heart failure.
He shot himself in the back of the head 8 times. It was suicide.
Yeah. Hey, look, just real quick, let's do an overview on the Ross rifle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then we're going to wrap this one up. So, all right. So I posted pictures. So if you want to see pictures of what Freeze is about to talk about, he's done a rehab and refurb on the Ross rifle to make it safe to shoot and stable and great and look fantastic. And if you want to check out the pictures, go to John1911.com. Give us an overview.
I just want to say that big old glob of filler I put in on the side killed my soul to do that.
I actually, if you saw the comment on John1911, I pinned a comment to make sure everybody understood that I ordered you to do that.
Yeah, if you look at the other 2 cracks, the cracks are noticeable because, it's kind of hard to make them totally disappear. They're not as noticeable because they are structurally sound. But the crack on the side isn't really a structural crack. I don't even know how the hell that crack got there. I mean, it's a weird crack, and it was pretty big.
I mean, it was a huge crack.
It's a pretty good ding.
Dude, that crack was a factor in me being able to get that gun cheap.
Well, I don't even think you knew of the third crack. I mean, you knew two of them, but anyway, so I fixed the crack structurally, and then I took some filler and I just put a big old glob of filler on there. So everyone, I mean, you can tell it's been repaired, and that was at your request. I didn't
tell them why I told you that. Why I told you to do it.
Well, I mean, it's a thing to where we can monitor any expansion, which isn't going to be an issue because I'm competent in my work. But also it's if someone down the road looks at the gun and they go, oh, well, these things, they can tell that the cracks have been repaired.
Somebody checks out that gun out of the armory or in the future. Because our guns get shot, whether they're shot a lot or whether they're shot little, just can be completely random. But, we don't know what the future holds. 30 years from now, that gun is now for sale somewhere, and somebody thinks that gun is shit. We want people to be able to pick that gun up and go, this has been addressed.
Yes.
If new cracks show up, we can go, that has not been addressed.
Yes.
So,
the rifle itself, when you were traveling when you bought it.
I was at the DC.
And you sent me pictures of it, and we were going back and forth on the price and stuff for what they wanted, and I was giving you some input. And I'm not going to mention what you paid for it, but you got it for a steal.
Yeah.
For what it is, a U.S. marked, 1905 Mark II Ross rifle, the price you paid for it. I mean, it wasn't a blowout flea market price, but look, at this point in time, we could easily double our money.
Well, I didn't even detect that there was a U.S. marking on the gun till after we had purchased it.
Well, that's just icing on the cake.
Yeah, I mean, we bought it as a non-marked gun price-wise, just to give people a clue.
Yeah. Now, the metal itself is perfect. There's no rust. There's no pitting. I didn't touch. You know what? I didn't even look at the barrel. I'm not even worried about it because it is what it is. We can't do anything about that. But I didn't touch the metal because the metal is just, it's got the correct patina. It's in really good shape. So I left it.
Great.
So I left all the metal alone. The only thing I did to the stock is, I had to clean the stock before I made the repairs because, you can't make repairs on a dirty ass stock, So, I didn't use anything abrasive. I just used alcohol. 91% rubbing alcohol. You buy it
what you call a lunch drink.
Wow! Ouch! Wow.
Have a little lunch. Let me have a martini.
I just had chest pains when you said that. So anyway, I wiped it down. Cleaned it up. Gently, with, I didn't use anything. I didn't use anything caustic. I just, like I said, an alcohol clean, and the stock was dry. I mean, once I cleaned all the dirt and grease and grit off of it, it was dry and splotchy, which is normal. So after I made all the repairs, I went over it with some boiled linseed oil, which is the original finish. That's, walnut stocks. They just put a linseed oil finish on them from the factory.
Everybody on the internet was talking about how gorgeous it looked.
And man, when I went over it with the first coat, let it soak in for a day, and then I wiped it down, and then I went over it with the second coat, and man, it just blended everything. That thing, this rifle looks like $1 million. bucks. I mean, it is beautiful. There's only two things wrong with the rifle right now. It's missing the front sight hood. And honestly, I did a search on the internet. Dude, front sight hoods for a 1905 Mark II are just not out there.
I didn't even know it was missing that. So,
I mean, it's not out there. I mean, there are some out there, of course, but I mean, it's going to be one of those things where just periodically I'm going to have to just do a search to try to find one. All my normal Numerich Arms, /Gun Parts Corporation, they're out, I mean,
what about the guys on gun boards or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to have to do a casual. Anytime you're looking for a part, everyone goes, "Oh, try Numerich Arms." Yeah, fuck Numerich Arms.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't have half the shit,
Hey, just so you know, I got Blaser magazines from Numerich Arms.
Yeah,
Suck my magazines.
Yeah, look, I mean, Numerich Arms is a great go-to place. It's if I need a part, it's usually my first go-to reference. But it's not the end-all, beat-all because they don't have a lot of shit. You know what I use Numerich Arms for? I've got several of their old catalogs when they were old Gun Parts Corporation. And I use them because the catalogs have exploded diagrams in them.
Oh.
And they're great references for that. But anyway, I digress. We need a front sight hood and we need an original sling. But let me run this by you. I don't know if this is aesthetically correct, but an M1905 sling, even a reproduction sling, not out there. I mean, it's hard to find parts for this gun. But since this is U.S. marked, would it be totally out of the realm of possibility to put a U.S. 1907 sling that they used on the 03 Springfield?
That's the thing. I would think not, because if this gun, what's the correct sling for a Canadian-made, U.S. used Ross service rifle?
Here's the thing. It's not an Enfield sling. They had their own special style of sling for this rifle.
That's going to be stupid expensive.
And I did an internet search.
I'm not paying more for a sling than we paid for that goddamn bayonet.
Well, here's the thing. I can't even find one on the internet for sale.
What take HK clips? HK hooks? I'm kidding, dude. Stop. I'm kidding. Don't
But look, you can find repop 1907 slings for about $25. Original slings vary in price depending on the condition of the sling. But being that it's U.S. marked and it went into our World War I arsenal, you can argue the fact that an M1907 sling wouldn't be. I mean, I might be arguing fantasy on my part because I want it to work. But you could argue that if you put a 1907 sling on this rifle, it would be correct. Because the rifle and the bayonet are both U.S. marked.
I don't know how important the sling is for this gun because it's a reference gun. It'll get shot. We're eventually going to be doing stuff on video once we get some other stuff squared away.
I know, but I like to kind of have things complete.
I mean, see, my thing, unless the gun's too long, like that, what's that green canvas sling that the Army used in World War II?
See, they used those. You mean the British Army?
No, isn't there a green canvas sling that the U.S. used?
Yeah, there is, but more correctly, it would be like the Enfield, the number 4 Mark I Enfield sling, which they did a slight modification on them to do for the FALs. Like if you took like an Enfield or a /FAL sling, that would, I mean, it's later dated. It wouldn't be totally correct. But, if you figure, did the Canadians use the Ross rifle in World War II? You could put an Enfield sling on it and theoretically be correct.
I see what you're saying. I get it. See, I would just look in the armory at maybe like an existing sling that would kind of go with it. We could just float with different guns as we're using them.
But on the other hand, since this is U.S. marked and finding a Ross, an actual original Ross or even a repro Ross sling is not easily done, I'm thinking in 1907, just get like a repop 1907 sling for like $25 and throwing it on there. It's a functional sling, and theoretically, it's not incorrect. It might be fantasy, but in my mind, it works because this gun was in the World War I arsenal. Because in World War I, we bought these guns from Canada because we didn't have enough guns to go around. So throwing an existing sling that the U.S. used during World War I, which is the M1907 sling, would, in my mind, be correct.
Well, I've got good news for you.
What's that?
Because you have forgotten about this. We have a Winchester 52 with the Unerdal, that we're going to have the shoot-off with, the 22 competition against your CZ.
Yes.
That gun came with a 1907 sling on it. It's about 2 feet behind my head right now on a shelf.
Really?
Yep.
Well, and since you're not going to use a sling with the Winchester 52, we should just allocate that sling and put it on the Ross rifle.
Yeah, I've had to do a little TLC on that sling. It was real dry, and the connections were, corroded, and I had to clean them up. But it needs more. It needs to be soaked more. I tell you what, it's a pretty.
Take some neat's foot oil.
Yeah, that's what I'd used.
Well, you know what? Okay, let's work on that sling and put it on the 1905.
It might need a hardware repair, though. I think one of the rivets on one of the pieces of hardware is basically disintegrated. You might need to.
You know what? No big deal. I got a rivet gun. We'll pop rivet. I mean, it would be correct.
I did not know that.
Whatever. But who cares?
Okay.
It is what it is.
Fantastic. Well, have to get that gun out and shoot it. We don't have any 303 ammo, do we?
You know what? I think I've got an old ammo box with just some oddball ammo in it. I think I might have a bandolier of some Greek 303 ammo on strip clips.
303 ammo? When the hell did that ever get made?
Oh, yeah, shit, yeah. Back in the 90s, a bunch of Greek 303 import ammo got imported, and I bought a bunch of it. It came in bandoliers.
Because when I think of Greece, I don't think of the Commonwealth. I just have a hard time. I don't know. Okay, great. That'd look cool, the bandolier.
I have to double check that, but I got all kinds of weird shit laying around. I come up with all kinds of crazy shit that it's like, oh wow, I forgot I even had that.
Okay. So, well, I know we're going long here, and you've got a meeting you have to go to.
Yeah,
so we'll wrap this up. Oh, by the way, just for information, because this is just you and I talking, you had sent me something on a IDF sling, a correct sling for the quote Jew Mauser, the IDF Mauser that we have.
Yes.
That gun that we have here has a sling on it, and you need to confirm whether that's a correct sling already or not.
Okay, I did not know it had a sling on it. I was just trolling for slings for the Ross rifle, and I came across a company that had the Israeli slings for the K98 Mausers. And I thought, well, I thought it was a little pricey, but I thought, for an original, but if it's already got a sling on it, actually what you need to do is bring me the Israeli Mauser and pick up the 1905.
Okay. Check it out. Check it in.
We need to do a check. Check out the Mauser, and that way you can check in the 1905.
Cool.
And I'll go over the Israeli Mauser from the. I haven't seen it in person, by the way. It's a new acquisition.
Okay. Well, the next time I am that we're scheduled to actually physically be in the same place, because I have to give you a tripod that's coming in for you. We'll go ahead and switch out the guns.
Yeah, and I'll go over the Israeli Mauser, and I'll look at the sling and everything. Here's the thing with the Israeli Mauser: the few pictures that I've seen of it, I like it. It looks good. I don't think it needs any work, but until I actually get it apart and look at it, I won't know. But in my experience, and I've owned a couple of them in the past, the stocks on them are just garbage. We may do a stock upgrade on that gun.
I think the stock's in decent shape.
Okay,
the stock's been gone over.
Okay, if it's been gone over and it's in decent shape, then we'll keep it. But we may do a stock upgrade on that. It just depends.
Well, what I'm going to do is, because I haven't told you this either, I assumed Roger would do this for us, but we haven't done. I was going to take pictures of all the, put the gun in like a light box, shoot a bunch of pictures of the markings, send the markings over to Roger so he could translate them, so we know what the hell they actually said. Because the gun's got all these Jewish markings on it, or Hebrew markings I can't read, and
Yes.
Roger obviously can read that. So, you know, I'll do all that, document it, get that published, check the gun out of the armory. You can have it, and then we can do whatever we're going to do with it. And hopefully, we'll have the other project done so we can start getting these guns shot on video. So,
well, that's good because I want to also track the lineage of the rifle. Like the last Israeli Mauser I bought from Century Arms back when they brought a bunch of them in. And it was interesting because it started out as a GEW 98, basically a World War I Mauser.
That's probably expensive gun now.
And then it was cut down to a K98K. So actually it was an Israeli K98KA model. Basically, it was a World War I Mauser cut down to a K98 during World War II, and then given to the Israelis and converted to 308. And it had World War I markings, it had World War II markings, it had Israeli markings, and the stock on it was absolutely horrendous. I mean, the metal was all freshly parkerized. It was beautiful, but the wood on it was just garbage. I mean, garbage. So what I did is I took a laminate K98, nicely World War II German marked stock, and put it on there. And I mean, this gun looked like $1 million. Wish I still had it.
See, all those guns are worth big money now.
Oh God, yeah. That gun's worth probably 3 times what I got for it when I sold it.
Yep. Well, you know what? We've already got it. We've got a Israeli Mauser. We don't need another one. So unless we get a sniper.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It is what it is, and I'm glad we have it in the armory because it's a wonderful addition. They're great shooters. They're fun to shoot. And it's just. We've got the French Maz in 308. We've got the Enfield in 308. We got any other Milsurps in 308 other than the Mauser, Maz, and Enfield?
I have no idea. I mean, we'd have to go through.
Well, one day we're going to go out to the range and we're going to have a Milsurp 308 day.
Yeah, when someone's not shooting a machine gun on it. Okay, so we can actually get audio. Okay,
yeah.
We'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and close this one out because I know you've got stuff to do and I got a meeting in 45 minutes myself. So
yeah.
Okay. All right, well, this wraps up episode 64 of the John 1911 podcast. If you like what we're talking about or you want to see more about the Ross Rifle, or actually even the IDF, I think the Jewish Mauser, some of it's up on the blog page, John1911.com. Special thanks to our audio engineer, Mitch at A&M Promotions, for making us sound great. And if you think we sound great and, we're doing a good job and you like this kind of stuff, think about leaving us some feedback on iTunes, or if iHeartRadio offers feedback. If you like us, give us 5 stars. If you don't like us, give us 1 star. I mean, that's fine. It's legit. We take the feedback and read everything and, try to make everything better. So, again, everybody, thank you for your time. And remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.
See you later.